Hey Mark, can you hear me, mate?
Yep.
Can you hear that music?
Yeah, I did, Jack.
Cool. Okay. All right. I had to reboot the machine just then because for some reason OBS decided to crash or something. Anyway, 2 minutes, people. Coming up in 1 minute. 1 minute, people. Maybe even less. 30 seconds, people. 30 seconds. Good Lord. Coming down with a virus here. Might as well just start. Yeah. Start. Hey folks. Good evening, good people. Welcome to the Daily Chaos. The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for turning up. Viruses, Davos, Greta Thunberg, I don't know. Oh yeah, Brexit, WAB thing. Restart the audio engine, hopefully that'll be less crackly now. You know, I tried to iron out the gremlins on this rig. It hasn't quite worked, quite, but I'm getting there. Right, Conway, can you hear me? Good evening.
I can indeed. Good evening, Ollie. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well. Let me see if I can get you on here. Get your chivvy on. Oh, no, can't see you. Can't see you. Why can I not see you? I don't know. I've got no idea why I can't see you.
Right. I can't see you.
You can't see me. Can you not see me on YouTube?
I can see you on YouTube, but I can't see you on Zoom.
I'm so fed up with the gremlins with the system, I got to say. Things have improved a wee bit this week. I think that the audio is going out, and most of the video possibly as well, but not all of it. But anyway, all right, I'll see if I can grab your chivvy throughout the show sometime. In the meantime, oh, look at that! Christmas. That was the Christmas set. Right, okay, let's have a look and see what's going on in the world of fake stream. Mr. Conway, please. God bless you. And I'd like to get your opinion on what's going on. First of all, have you come down with a virus? Apparently, viruses are mutating. Let me just read you the story. According to The Sun, killer bug, coronavirus death toll doubles to 17 overnight, apparently, as more than 470 cases of mutating bug confirmed. 17 people have died from coronavirus. This is one particular bit of coronavirus, isn't it? Coronavirus is a bigger thing, but this is one sort of strand or whatever they call it. As more than 500 cases of the killer strain were confirmed, officials have said. Latest figures reveal 471 cases in China, with 4 in Thailand, 2 in Hong Kong, and yeah, even in the States apparently, in Washington and Seattle or something. Mark, are you worried about this, or is it just another Y2K?
No, I think it's a serious thing. I come down with the virus on the 12th of December and just got over it last week. I've been reading up on it, and I tell you what, it did knock me for 6. I did think I had pneumonia. It attacked my lungs, the kidneys. My son got it as well. But I've noticed that it can stay live in your carpets for 7 weeks, and room temperature can kill it. So I would advise anybody that's worried about it, put the heating on for 2 days, and the warmth in your house will kill it if it is in your house.
Blimey. Oh, there you go. We've got your chivvy now. Right. Okay. So you're saying we should be concerned, but I mean, come off it, mate. I mean, the chances of it being a real problem, more than the common flu or whatever, pretty
Ollie,
pretty unlikely.
Ollie, no, I disagree with you, mate. I disagree with you. I give it one of my friends, and he was hospitalised. I had difficulty breathing. Now I don't know whether I did have it, but it's certainly the longest flu I've ever had. As I said, I only got over it last week. It was a month I was suffering with it. And
do you think that flu generally is getting worse? I mean, they reckon that antibiotics don't work anymore, for example. I don't know that you're supposed to take antibiotics for flu, are you? But basically, our immune system hasn't got maybe quite the protection that it did have. Possibly, maybe because we're being mollycoddled as opposed to being allowed to, play in the dirt and stuff like that when we were kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we becoming less healthy? We've got these superbugs in the hospital and what have you. Do you feel less safe in terms of these kind of, potential global pandemics now than you did 20 years ago? How much of that is down to information, and how much of that is down to, I don't know? Basically, we basically don't know. It's a lottery, no? Life.
We're constantly sterilising our whole life, don't we? And that's got to be negative because we ain't naturally evolving as a virus would. So we're not, our immune system isn't as efficient as what it would have been when we was kids, as you say, when we was messing about in the road and whatnot. But I certainly got knocked about with whatever I had, and I never had anything like it before. And I generally don't get flus because I take, I can't remember the name of it now, but I take supplementary vitamins and whatnot. So I generally don't suffer it. But I did this time. It was for a month I suffered. It hit my kidneys, hit my lungs, couldn't breathe, hots, colds, pains in the back. And it was for a month. Never had it before like that.
What do you think of this idea of giving, I don't know, statins and God knows what else to elderly people? Do you think that these flu virus shots for anybody that wants one or whatever are a good thing? Or again, are we maybe playing with our immune systems, and maybe we should just be thinking about eating better? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just curious what people think.
I'd say that genetically modified crops is taking away a lot of the should we say X factor out of our crops, the nutrition that should be there, and I think that's what might be a big problem. And so we're just not prepared for it. Our bodies aren't prepared for it, and I think that's what's going to happen. Generally, is we are going to be hit with viruses as more and more people get breeding together. I suppose it's a thinning down of genetics, isn't it?
Mm. Right, okay, hold on a sec. We got a lot of snap, crackle and pop, apparently, with the audio here. And I got to say, I don't know why people... It should be better now. I just rebooted the sound card. Okay, let's take a few comments, see what people have got to say. I don't know what's going on with wakeupuk.net. That Jason Tyler bloke was supposed to be picking up the feed off YouTube. We don't seem to be on there at the moment, but I'm in the chat room, folks. God bless you. If you want to give us a shout, anybody, and tell us what you think about, for example, the Lords passing, apparently, Brexit, according to Nigel Farage, pretty much. He reckons it's Brexit at the end of the month. I reckon it's a bit premature for a party, personally. But anyway, if you want to give us a shout and tell us what you think on 0203 481 5240. That's UK national rate number. 044 if you're calling from outside the UK. 203, or if you're in the UK, then it's just 0203 481 5240, and you can give us a shout and tell us what you think about that, or about, I don't know, Davos, or this virus, or whatever else, Trump, the impeachment. We're going to be talking about all of that over the course of the evening. And my sound, again, is just got all crackly in my ear, which is... So I've just restarted the sound card again. Oh, blimey, I tell you, what a pain. I hate the tech side of it. Let's have a look and see what's going on. I do want to get this Brexit story out of the way because I know a lot of the folks tuning in are going to be curious on this. They probably know pretty much what's gone on anyway. According to Express, Brexit underway. House of Lords backs down after standoff with Boris Johnson over bill. Boris Johnson's... Hold on. Now it's crackling. Now it's crackling again. I'll tell you. Not that this is being routed through GCHQ in Cheltenham or something. Anyway, Boris Johnson's Brexit bill has cleared Parliament as the House of Lords admit defeat and finally vote to back the bill. According to Sexpress, the House of Lords has opted to end its legislative tussle with the Commons as peers vote in favour of passing Boris Johnson's Brexit bill. The unelected peers bowed to the will of the Commons after MPs overturned 5 amendments to the divorce deal. The bill now goes forward for royal assent, so basically to get the stamp of approval. The Queen is expected to formally approve the bill tomorrow. Well, she probably will, seeing as she won't even probably see it. It'll probably be stamped in an office in Downing Street, which tends to be the case. Speaking in the upper chamber, Brexit Minister Lord Callanan said, "We're at the end of what seems like a very long road. The final stages of this bill represent something which many of us thought might never happen. Parliament passing the legislation necessary to implement a Brexit deal, and to finally deliver on the 2016 referendum. What a load of bunk!" And I'll tell you why that's a load of bunk, because all this is the most expensive extension to Remain ever. What is it? 37 billion quid, something like that. Northern Irish border, level playing field so far as trade's concerned, until we actually do get out at the end of December at this rate. And that's when we will get Brexit. So no, mate, to finally deliver on the 2016 referendum, this is not delivering. This does not take us out of the single market. It does not take us out of the customs union. It does not, basically, what it doesn't do, it doesn't take us out of the ECJ. Therefore, everything else is pretty much moot. But we will get there, apparently. According to the Prime Minister, we will get there at the end of December. And then it will be Brexit. But let's just say it for what it is. This, at the moment, is supposedly, at best, an opportunity for the UK and the EU to talk trade. because the EU refused to talk trade without there being this, chuck us tens of billions that you don't owe us first, and then we'll talk trade. And the British government were mad enough to say, yeah, fine. But anyway, Mark, am I being unfair? Am I being unfair about this? I mean, to me, this WAB, this withdrawal agreement bill, this divorce deal, where we didn't even get a set of accounts from the other side, is an absolute joke and has got little to do with Brexit, but that might lead to Brexit.
I think might is the main word you said there, Ollie. But it is certainly a step towards it. Yeah, 30 billion we've got to pay, and to remain in a period of when we shouldn't be in there. I think we should have been this stage back in 2016, not 2020. So we're a couple of years behind. But I don't know. The only thing we can is live and learn and hope that we do achieve it. But at the minute, as you say, we're going to be stuck to the European Courts of Justice, and they're going to override everything what we do and say. And until we leave from that, then we are going to be saying
until we actually do get out. Oh, sorry about that. Right, okay, I am going out on Wake on UK as well. Fantastic. God bless you. And to you, YouTube. I'm going to get a few comments in a minute. Okay, but I mean, I'm confused here because the guy that got us Brexit, and it has to be said, he did a hell of a lot towards getting us Brexit, more than any other person at all. Nigel Farage is putting on parties. He's got his I don't know, his Hoopla skates on or something. He wants to have a great big party in the middle of London at the end of January. He reckons we're getting Brexit. Conway.
Yeah, sorry, matey. I thought you cut off there. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, so what's the problem? According to Nigel Farage, Lord Saviour of Brexit, it's happening at the end of January.
Well, I hope it is. But I'm the pessimist, the same as you, Ollie. I don't think it's going to happen. But I just hope it does. I just hope it does.
I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. I do know that the establishment, that it doesn't make any sense. It's the art of war, isn't it? You look at what the other side wants, what they're doing, what they're thinking, as much as you possibly can, and they don't want it. They clearly don't want it. None of them really want it. But on the other hand, they're backed into a corner because of electoral history post-referendum and before the referendum with the rise of UKIP. They have been backed into a corner. And so it looks as though it's very, very hard for them not to deliver on it. But to call that this Brexit, the divorce deal Brexit, is just nonsense when we're still tied to the ECJ, when British law is surpassed by EU law. Where is the regaining your control, taking back control, regaining your sovereignty in that?
Oh, there isn't, is that? The ECJ has control over us, and we've got to comply with it. That's simple as that. So
it could lead to it, though. But it could lead to it. And it looks as though the Lords, at least, are beginning to... Because they turned down a whole bunch of stuff from... Now, I got to say, I do think that this withdrawal agreement bill is a huge red herring. But nonetheless, the Lords have at least backed down in the last 24 hours. There was serious tussling going on yesterday. And it looks as though now they realise that they are just going to get kicked out on their 300 quid a day expenses allowance or whatever it is that they get. They're not going to get that anymore. They're going to be kicked out. They're going to be kicked out of York. Personally, seeing as we got this, China syndrome coming all over, global like, this virus thing, I think we should prop them up in Heathrow Terminal 4, which I think's got flights coming straight in from China. That's where the Lords can sit. And good luck to them. I don't know. Either there's a lot of people sending people to Mars and stuff like that is quite popular these days as well. Farage, I just want to cover this though, because I am confused as a Brexiteer, somebody that voted to leave, as somebody that wants true Brexit, like it said in the pamphlet. Yeah, I am a little bit confused. I just want to give a bit of clarification what I said about Nigel Farage. He has changed his tone slightly in the last day or so, apparently. According to Express, again, Nigel Farage says fight for Brexit not over yet, as exit could still hit the buffers. Nigel Farage appeared on ITV this morning to discuss his future plans. Now Brexit is only 9 days away from kicking off. But it isn't! Express, you lying... Come on! They're just incapable of the truth, aren't they? The entire media is saying that Brexit is what happens at the end of January. It is an abject lie! Excuse me. Anyway, speaking to the host there, he detailed how he doesn't plan to completely neglect the Brexit party. Okay, so he's basically selling his political party, whatever it is. You know, he's going to be the Reform Party. It isn't a party, it's a company. It's a limited company, for crying out loud, where you can't change the leader. Anyway, look, the bottom line is that, yeah, he says that this time last year, it looked like a second referendum was coming down the track, that Brexit may not happen, and that the general public disgusted with politics and politicians had reached an all-time low. That's why Nigel Farage, came out of political retirement and founded the Brexit Party. It was a dramatic success. So successful, we won the EU elections. Yeah, because we wanted to get rid of Theresa May, and that did work. We got rid of Mrs. May, and Boris Johnson came in and almost word for word took the agenda we fought on. So I'm delighted I formed it, but what I'll do now is to put it on care and maintenance, just in case they make a mess of it. Okay, fair enough. It is not Brexit at the end of January, people. It is not. It is too premature to party until we actually get Brexit. We know what they did with the FCO 301048. They covered it up for 30 years, gave us a referendum in, what was it, 75, and told us that, you know, this was a great thing, this trading bloc. And then it turned out, apparently, they'd lied to us that they knew we were going to be giving away all of our sovereignty by about the turn of the century, all along. And we cannot just accept, Brexit's going to happen when it hasn't actually happened. When we get Brexit, then we party. In the meantime, we keep close tabs. And Nigel Farage seems to be sat on the fence about it, just, I don't know, propping up his political party or whatever, which I find extremely tedious, frankly. I want to hear some plain talk about what is going on. Anyway, okay, so what else is going on? We've got this this big thing going on in Davos, yeah? Let's have a look at that. Oh, and this impeachment thing. Well, I suppose we'll take some comments first. Let's see what people have got to say. Yeah. My audio is bad again. I don't know why the audio keeps breaking up. I don't know why. Mark, is it crackly, the audio, to you?
It is, yeah, for you, yeah. I don't know if mine is coming through that way, but what is?
Yours is not as crackly as mine. I think it is a local machine, a local problem that I've got. I don't know. Hold on a sec. Let me just do something about it. If you want to call in, you can. Sorry? Hey, Mark?
It sounds like one of the speakers are going or your mic's going.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've got no idea. It's one thing, it's another. Anyway, okay, let's see what's going on with the impeachment, the latest on it. Live updates from Breitbart. Trump impeachment trial. Democrats begin the opening arguments. Democrats will have 24 hours over the next 3 days, which included today, I understand, or includes today, because they're a bit behind us over there, aren't they, in the States, for their opening arguments in President Donald Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. Opening arguments are set to start, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, so just a few hours' time. Stay tuned to Breitbart, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, okay, so it's going on over there. What do you think about what's going on with that impeachment, Mark? Do you think that any of it's deserved? Do you think it's distracting from something else? Do you think that, I don't know, we got a system that isn't working somehow, or what?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really care what he's doing. I think he's doing a better job over here than what I got doing. I think that he seems to be his main advisors. It seems to be his arch enemies at the minute, don't they? And he's trying to shut them off. But I personally don't think he's done anything wrong. I think the impeachment is just like Corbyn against Tories, isn't it? Just the bullshit that we've all listened to. They've got it over there. They don't like what he's doing because he ain't about money for him, it's about power. And I think he is changing America, isn't he? No doubt about that.
No. Well, I mean, you're not concerned because he's a bit orange, isn't he?
Well, no, I like Trump. I think he's doing a good job.
You don't
Do I
think that he's
his
actually
impeachment's gonna go
President
through? I don't.
Putin, his
I don't
clone
think
or something in disguise?
I don't.
Why is everybody
think
so worried about the guy? I don't know. I mean, he's got the economy, this great big Ponzi scheme or something on a record level, the Dow and all that. So you'd think that
because he's an arsehole.
you know a lot of people will be happy about that. He seems to be creating a lot of jobs. Yeah. More
Yeah, he's
black Hispanic jobs than ever before in the States, for example. You'd think that everybody would be happy about all that lot. He also seems to be creating a lot more future trade opportunities for the country and levelling out agreements that were poorly negotiated before. I don't know. I mean, why are people so concerned about him? Well, is there any justification, or is it just, in your opinion, pure, if you like, Democrat politics that's going on behind this impeachment, for example?
Well, I think it's like bollocks. I do, and I think it's good for us. It's leverage against the EU. I think that nothing's going to call off the impeachment. I think he's going to stay in there. I think he's going to win massively in his re-election. And I can't bother. I know he's an arsehole. He is an arsehole. But
Look, let's try and be more imaginative with our language.
it's good for running business. It's got a proven history of good for business. And that's what we need here. Have some.
Yeah, but you don't think he's orange? Okay, let's just take a few comments. Just people are talking about fruit over on YouTube. I don't know why. Peaches and well, I suppose I was too. Oranges. Yeah. Anyway, the plague, says Claire Rook. The Spanish flu killed more people in the winter months because we are low on vitamin D. Please get a bit of vitamin C and D3 in large doses. That's what she says. Mike Smith says the Earth's way of moderating the population is for the benefit of the greater good. God, you sound like Dickens. What we need is a good war. No, I'm only joking. If the truth is known, I think there are higher powers involved and not originating from this planet. Mike, well, you definitely need to call in, mate, on UK number, national rate 0203 481 5240. Yeah, please let us know. Tanis Pullen says, Ollie, you sound as if you are in a packet of crisps. Yeah, it did sound crackly. Belinda Taylor, thank you very much. I apologise for that, people. It should be a little bit better now. Mike Smith's a nectarine fan, and Tanis Pullen prefers peaches. Yeah, great. Okay. And over on wakeupuk.net, Manchester Collins says, I don't think we will ever truly leave the EU. We are being fooled into thinking we are leaving. You know, Colin, that is very much my concern. That's very much my concern, I have to say. But we will find out. I just find it incredible how people are so complacent off the back of the last election. And how Facebook groups, for example, like, I don't know, We Are Leave or the Bruges Group, whatever, groups that are supposed to be absolutely 100% blue-blooded Brexiteers are just assuming that it's a done deal now. You know, come on. What planet have you been living on the last 3 years? Oh, the Tory party has always looked out for Joe Blighty, hasn't he? I mean, hasn't it? Yeah, right. Blimey, incredible. And various comments about my technical gremlins. Kaylee Einver says, we need to get to the point where they know, if they don't know what we expect them to do, they are personally liable and accountable and will have liens and torts issued against them all en masse. It's all got too complicated, says Kaylee. Well, Kaylee, I totally agree with you. But unfortunately, we live in the kind of world where we've got war criminals and mass murdering, psychotic control freaks like Tony Blair still being wheeled out on the BBC to tell us how to vote and what to think and why we so desperately need his brand of fascism. Him and his mate Ali Campbell, another war criminal. Incredible, isn't it? Unbelievable. Paul Atkins, brilliant. Put my password in and my username, said error on phone. That was good while it lasted. Throw the phone away, said Paul. Yeah. And there you go. All right. Okay, fine. Let's see what else is going on, in the world of this and that. Oh, Nicola Sturgeon, she's having it. She's not having it. She thought that Scottish cranky bird, she thought, Mark, that she was going to, I don't know, get a referendum or something? Twice in a generation referendum or something she reckoned she was going to get? Is she really surprised? Hold on, hear this and then maybe tell us what you think. Nicola Sturgeon crisis as Scotland plummets down world rankings. Since devolution, Nicola Sturgeon has been forced to face up to the fact that Scots are worse off in many key areas of life 2 decades after devolution, with the national well-being now being on a par with Slovenia. This is a nation, Scotland, that decides to use a load of its national budget to teach children that they might identify as a horse box or something, as opposed to male or female. That is the mentality of the Scottish Nationalist Party, apparently. The Index of Social and Economic Wellbeing report lays out how Scotland scored 2.08 in 2018, a drop of 0.5. Basically, for crying out loud, they're ruled by morons. But, Mark, tell me, it does sound as though Scotland, if they were to get an independence vote, they would, and voted for if they voted for independence, they'd be completely screwed. What is it about the SNP that they can't put 2 and 2 together and realise that, they're basically buggered without the British pound, effectively the English pound, really. Oh, and the Barnett formula, being subsidised by the English. No?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've got the Remainer attitude, don't they? They don't face reality, do they? And they can't see it, can't smell the coffee at all. They're just carrying on. They don't suffer the terrorist attacks, do they, with Scotland? So, of course, they want to stay in the EU. The SNP, any opportunity at all, they want independence. And that ain't about the strength of Scotland. That's about getting control and power and filling their back pockets with money, trying to rip their country off. That's what they're trying to do there. And I've got no respect for that woman at all. And here I have for Alex Salmond.
I've noticed since the general election, and I'm going to have to reboot my sound card again. I don't know, I apologise. I rebooted this machine just before the show. It should have all been fine, all this stuff. Anyway, I noticed after the general election, when it really did look as though the British public had said, that's it, re-Brexit, we just want it, to me, that's what that general election result said, particularly kicking out that, that moron from the SNP, the Lib Dems. What's her name? The one that looks like Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, getting rid of her, for example, the British people clearly said, we want Brexit. Now, but since then, it does seem to me, I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this, Mark, that the media is moving towards less, they can't really fight the Remain corner anymore. Or at least they got to give it a bit of time before they try that again. or get us back in or whatever down the road. But in the meantime, it seems to me that they've changed tack. So they're now talking more about devolution and the breakup of the union. And they're doing that with Ireland. The number of programmes I've heard on Radio 4, 4 or 5 anyway. A large proportion compared to before the election, when I don't remember the last time I heard a programme about the unification of Ireland. Now they're talking about it quite a bit. And also, more and more, they seem to be talking about the breakup of Scotland from the UK as well. Is that something you've noticed, or is that something that I've been noticing, Mark?
I don't really follow Scotland too much, Ollie, because I don't just see that as a red herring. I really don't bother with that. Scotland don't. They voted to stay in here, so they're staying. Sturgeon's got other issues, and I don't think they should leave anywhere. They're sticking with England, and that's that.
Well, she's certainly been given short shrift by Boris. Anyway, that letter he wrote Sturgeon 2-3 weeks ago was superb. It was fantastic.
It was, yeah.
But anyway, okay, all right. Let's change tack a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. I do think there's a bit of an agenda going on. They can't get Brexit, and therefore they're trying to destabilize from within. But whether or not that would actually work, because the English, you could argue, will be wealthier, better off without Scotland and Northern Ireland having to subsidise those two countries. So whether or not that would work anyway, but it certainly isn't good for the British Union. Sorry, Mark, what did you want to say?
Well, you're just going. It leads on to your next thing, really, doesn't it? About the SNP and Alex Salmond. Because I don't really know much about her up there. I don't.
Oh, yes. No, yeah. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah. No, Alex Salmond, I read from Jason Tyler, actually, that he was in court today talking about his various alleged sex crimes and stuff like that. Touching up.
14.
Hey?
He's got 14 alleged sexual offences, including attempted rape. And he's due to go on trial on the 9th of March with 14 charges. One's attempted rape and one intent to rape, while he was First Minister and leader of the Scottish National Party. So, are
these charges from different people or the same person, or do you happen to know?
I'm not sure about how many people involved, but I know he's certainly got 14 charges. I believe you can only be charged for 4 of the same, so I'm not too sure where that's going. But he's certainly been charged with it. He's going to be accountable for it. Just looking through it here now to see if I can see. Well,
it's kind of curious. It is kind of curious, that's for sure. Whilst you see what you've got on that, there's a bit of another take on this corona virus or whatever it is. Let me see if I can. Show you this. There you go. Deadly coronavirus, according to the Daily Fail, could already be in Britain. Heathrow passengers from Wuhan are isolated. You see, I told you. Resituate the House of Lords at Heathrow and isolated and checked for symptoms. Passengers from Wuhan in China, that place where it's all kicked off, as the death toll soars to 17 in China, prepares to quarantine. Yeah. Guess what? It could be in the UK. Who knows? And maybe it isn't, and we ain't got a clue. I'll tell you something that may be a little bit less speculative is that the future king of the UK or whatever, Prince Charles, calls for green taxes as he meets Greta Thunderbollocks in Davos after flying in on a private jet. And pitches radical new world economy to tackle climate change. A day after Donald Trump rejected profits of drone. Yeah, this is Prince Charles, who you would be forgiven for thinking is running for the next leader of the Labour Party. He certainly is a socialist. Prince Charles demanded global green taxes as part of a radical push to tackle climate change in a seminal speech at Davos today. So let me get this right, his son just quit royal duties, and he's decided he's going to go private. But it turns out that Charlie Boy is going to keep funding his boy off the back of the Duchy of Cornwall, which is something which is essentially a thing of the British people anyway. Effectively, it's just been stolen from the British people, and this business device, which has basically been taken by Prince Charles from the British people, inherited from people that killed lots of British people along the way, basically, and he's going to be funding his son off the back of that, or maybe getting tax write-offs against what he pays towards his son via the Duchy of Lancaster. Not Lancaster, that's his mum. It's just anyway. But he wants the rest of us to pay more taxes. Oh, and maybe him too. Let's hope for make a nice change. The Prince of Wales. No, he does pay some tax. The Prince of Wales met Greta Thunberg at the World Economic Forum after flying into Switzerland on a private jet, but did not hold talks with Donald Trump. So he decided to have chats with a 17-year-old girl who doesn't seem to realise that the biggest problem that we have with regards respecting the rock, irrespective of your thoughts about climate, whatever it is they called it this week, is China. And they're trying to talk to the wrong person. They need to talk to China and to maybe India if they want to sort anything out, which is actually going to work. Instead of which she's shouting at Trump, and he's like, well, go to school. And old Charlie boy isn't even interested in hearing what Trump's got to say. He'd rather talk to somebody who needs to go to school. Charles even sounded like the 17-year-old Swedish activist, according to the Daily Mail, as he asked VIPs, do we want to go down in history as the people who didn't do anything about Jimmy Savile? Oh, no, sorry, he didn't say that. Who didn't do anything to bring the world back from the brink. That's right. Never mind the kids getting raped because of his mate Jimmy Savile. Yeah, that's right. And the balls blow. The only limit is our willingness to act. And the time to act is now. Putting his fingers in his pocket. Can you take this man more seriously than can I, Conway?
No, absolutely not. He's an arsehole, isn't he? It's simple as that. He's more concerned about taxes and meeting her.
Eh?
He's more concerned about taxes and bringing to book the monster cases and the paedophiles that's within our society, even in his own family. It's just craziness.
Yeah, it is a lot of old nonsense.
And 4 ton of fuel he used today to go and meet that Egypt. 4 ton of fuel on his plane. Right,
what's that? Sorry?
4 ton of fuel his plane used today to go and meet that Thunberg or whatever it is.
Yeah, I heard that there were 3 tons of carbon, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how much jet fuel uses in terms of carbon, but the bottom line is that they could have used Zoom. Yeah, I mean they could have done what we're doing right now, but they had to they probably had old Harry there asking the Disney bloke if he could give his wife a job, and then they probably had that Phillips, what's his name, Anne's boy, doing a milk advert. And his sister doing another milk advert with a rival dairy firm, which apparently is what they're doing in China again. China's in the news, yeah. Apparently, both those, Anne is such a beacon, as we all know. Well, apparently her 2 kids are both on the take, yeah, because they got on the adverts. They've got member of the royal family, Peter Phillips, or his sister, whatever her name is. I don't know. Quite cute, actually. Anyway, look, yeah. I don't know. The royal family is in a pickle, but in a way, Mark, to balance this, they're a little bit damned if they do and damned if they don't. Because I mean, you can understand that people do need to fly about to, meet people and have their, sort of hors d'oeuvre cocktail things, whilst failing to discuss the problems with packaging, and that we could just do something with that for a start, to make my recycling a bit less complicated, and guess what? Grow some hemp. Get some hemp growing on Poundbury, yeah? On your pound. Well, hold on. I was about to have a good rant, and then I had to reboot the sound card again. Yeah, on your Poundbury estate, lay a few of those fallow fields, mate, for hemp. Grow a bit of marijuana. A bit of insulation. You can, I don't know, maybe stuff some of that hemp in Meghan Markle's mouth, so we don't have to listen. And I don't know, all of you, just put a sock in it, or don't. But at least it's entertaining. I mean, they're trying to do is facilitate things, but it's very difficult for it to look good when you've used a tank of fuel to fly there.
Yeah. And you do it so perfectly all the way from Spain on a Wednesday night, Ollie, without having to use that much fuel, yeah.
That's right, on Valencia. And, we just use Zoom, don't we? We use Zoom.
Yeah.
I've got a thing here. I have to keep wheeling it to keep the whole rig going. Otherwise, we'll get all these, thingy ticks, whatever. Okay, fine. Let's find out, see what people are having to say about that. My sister adores her, says Anna. No idea she's talking about. I'm the black sheep, but proud to be white. Apparently it's racist now to be proud to be white, or to say it's okay to be white. What, do you remember that there was a campaign a few weeks ago or something? Posters around the UK saying it's okay to be white, which is a kind of a satirical swipe on, Black Lives Matter or whatever other crap, whatever divide rule nonsense. And this was a kind of a, if you like, a satirical bit of campaigning. Well, apparently now to do that is microaggression, and it's racist. I read it somewhere in the fake stream media. It must be true. And if you don't believe it's true, that's because you're a racist. And you must believe it. You are hideously privileged, white, probably male, and need to cut off your goolies. And if you don't do that, Gresser will be after you. Charlie will be there with the clippers, with the shears, when he's finished his hedge in Poundbury and he's chopped down his marijuana. And he'll be after your goolies and cutting down your fence and all that. And you're making sure your thicket's all nicely tidy. And there you go. Right. Okay. So find out what they're saying on old. Mike Smith says Soros. I mean, he actually says a lot more than that, but I think I'll just leave it at that. You know what we were going to say? Soros! Sorry, okay, all right. Mike Smith says Soros. The global establishment can see a second industrial revolution making them trillions, and it will be a green industrial revolution. I think this global crisis has been played up deliberately. Well, I mean, on that reckoning, I'm not saying any of this is fair necessarily, but on that reckoning, if you look way, way ahead, it could be a good thing what's going on, because it could be fantastic if technology is introduced, is learned, and whatever, off the back of us, really having to plunder our brains for solutions. But wouldn't the biggest solution just to be, is there a solution at all, until we have leaders on this planet who are less short-sighted than for the next visit to the ballot box? Conway.
I think Mike Smith's actually bang on right. I do. I think he's spot on. I think that the revolution is coming from your solar power. I think it's coming from they're pushing through the electric cars in this country. They've completely destroyed our automobile industry, and they're going to be allowed to build batteries. Wow. I think they're all tapping into Africa now, which is a massive, massive investment, because that can potentially supply 40% of the world's electricity, which is obviously worth trillions and trillions.
What if you put in a bunch of solar whatnots to generate solar electricity?
That's what. Yeah, turn it into a big solar bank.
Yeah.
And I think Soros is behind it, absolutely, definitely. Or one of them, anyway. It's
not all of that is necessarily a bad thing, is it? I mean, for example, the electrification of cars. I mean, at the moment, it presumably creates an enormous carbon footprint just to produce a car, electric or not. To produce the battery in an electric car, I imagine is quite a big carbon footprinty type process in itself. And then when you fill the car up with electricity at the electricity station or whatever, presumably that electricity has had to be generated by using, maybe solar, maybe windmills. I don't know how much of a fallacy is with the effectiveness of these various things. I do not know. I haven't got those kind of ologies yet. And I'm fed up of people on the media, for example, saying that this is the way to get it, when they haven't got a clue, actually, about the physics of it at all. And are just relying on what other people say. And those other people might be being honest, or they might be being bought. We don't really know. But it does seem to me that these kind of questions, Mark, are glossed over. People never, for example, seem to say, you go and fill that up at the electrical station, but that electricity, to produce that electricity, requires X carbon footprint. They never say that, do they?
No, I think they're absolutely crap. Because look at the charging time for them. Why aren't they pushing LPG? Why aren't they pushing the hydrogen cells? Why aren't they pushing them? It's pathetic.
Hydrogen cells. They seem to have forgotten about those, don't they? They seem to have forgotten. Well, is that because you used to have or would have had to have had a great big, sort of air balloon above the car?
Because you can actually have them so they're actually producing it, can you? they actually produce it themselves. You get self. Why ain't they forwarding that? It's patented and locked down. That's what I think the problem is with it all. And I think, as I said earlier, I think about the electric cars. They've got their fingers in their pies and they're just trying to force it on us. That's what I think.
Oh no! Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. Oh, this is such a pain. I'm getting comments here from Carol Weston. Thank you, Carol. Sounds cutting off, Ollie. Sounds cutting off. And Tanis Pullen, sound keeps doing a Norman Collier, Ollie. Oh, the chaos. I've got no idea who Norman Collier is, actually. But presumably he wasn't very good with his sound. And Amanda Thompson, no sound. She said kiss too. Hopefully it's a bit better. I just rebooted. I've rebooted the sound about 6 times in this show. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see what they got to say in this story, and then Prince Charles demanded global green taxes as part of a radical push to tackle climate change. In a seminal speech at Davos today, the Prince of Wales met Greta Thunberg at the World Economic Forum after flying into Switzerland on a private jet, but did not hold talks with Donald Trump. Charles even sounded like this. Oh, yeah, okay, I think I read that, didn't I? Should this guy, is he correct to be an eco-warrior, which is essentially what he is? Or, Mark, is he missing something here? Should we care? Should we be grateful that the future, king of the UK is so politically savvy, man? Or should we be concerned?
Well, Charles has always been into his nature, hasn't he? He's always been that sort of side to him.
I can't remember him ever before having said that people should pay more taxes. That's a pretty big thing for a member of the royal family to say, seeing as that they live off the taxpayer as well.
Well, if Thunberg, whatever her name is, not going to
Thunderbollocks,
not talking to him, that shows who's paying her or who's behind her, doesn't it? Because if she was concerned about the world's climate, surely you'd go and speak to one of the superpowers, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go and ignore him because you don't like the bloke. It's about
sure. Oh no, they're all talking to the wrong people. I mean, they're having lovely canapé parties, but they're not. They need to be talking to China. Or you would think if the US, for example, is talking trade with China, then they could maybe talk about this as part of it or whatever, and different. I don't know. Or are we just a bit too concerned about the climate, full stop, Mark? Are we? I don't know. I have to say personally, I'm confused. What I do think is that there is some sort of change going on climate wise. Now you tell me your opinion on this, please. Put me right. I do think there's some sort of a change. Is it unnatural? I have no idea. Is it because of Earth changes? Is it because of sun spots, stuff like that? I have no idea. Does this rock, our world, have a history of changes like this? Yes, it does. Yeah. Is it down to us this time? I don't have a clue. And anybody that does, I really, really wonder what qualification they've got to be sure. Who was it? It was that Bernard whatever said, the world is full of people that they reckon they know it all, and only a few wise enough to realise that they probably don't. And some philosopher said that, whose name I can't remember, but it was very good. And it just seems to me that that's going on at the moment. The world is full of people that seem to think that they understand the metaphysics of our rock and the solar system. Conway, can you please explain to me how the solar system works? Seeing two must be fully conversed with the BBC propaganda on the subject. Can you please give me the correlation between the number of ducks and the number of raindrops in the air today?
Well, the one thing I do know, Ollie, is that I've been testing the parts per million of CO2 in our air for quite a few years, and I know that it's 300 parts per million. During the day, when it's sunny, that's normally about the count. Evening, it goes right up. Now, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed at all. So they're about.
You're talking about carbon dioxide. I thought that Al Gore told us that we were going to drown on carbon dioxide a few years ago, unless you were a tree, in which case presumably you'd be very happy because you need it to live. Eh?
They're full of rubbish, mate. Full of crap. Of course, we have an impact on our globe, yeah. But if we stopped producing CO2, would it help our planet? I don't think that's going to occur. I don't think it's still. I think we're going through a natural change of this planet. That's what I think, anyway. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But we won't find out because we won't be here, will we?
Yeah. Okay, let's just see what Prince Charles had to say off the back of that meeting with his hero, by the sounds of it, Greta Thunberg. Prince Charles praises remarkable Greta Thunberg as he says that he doesn't want Prince George and Archie to accuse me of not doing something on climate change, and humanity simply cannot waste any more time. Another expert, Charles, was forced to charter a plane for a trip as ministerial jet was out of action and gave radical speech once he'd chucked in a bunch of carbon footprint. The Prince of Wales was driven 2 hours to Davos in an electric Jaguar instead of by a guzzling helicopter. Amazing. Good on you, man. Must have been the first time in ages. He described his dedication to corporate, social and environmental responsibility as an uphill struggle. Seriously, I wonder how many electric cars he actually has used in the last week. But he added, in order to secure our future and to prosper, we need to evolve our economic model. After meeting Greta for the first time, he will fly from Switzerland to the Middle East for a tour of Israel and Palestine. Prince of Wales has backed Greta Thunberg, calling the teenage activist remarkable before revealing that he doesn't want his grandchildren. They love repeating themselves in that first paragraph. Right, okay, yeah, so basically he is very, very concerned. I tell you.
It sounds okay again, Ollie, anyway.
I'm sorry?
It sounds good again, Ollie. It sounds good again.
Yeah. That's nice. That's
okay
nice.
Again.
That's nice. Yeah, okay. So basically it's all a bit of a joke. I really don't know. I mean, well, okay, fine. So we basically are on the verge of having a royal family in the UK, which is not only woke, but also which is a political player. Is Charles going to shut up before he becomes king? Is it not potentially very, very dangerous? I'm not saying he's wrong necessarily with his views. I don't know. And by the way, neither does he, is the God's honest truth. But what I do know is that kings, monarchs and politics do not mix.
Well, his father-in-law's on TV at the minute, isn't he? Doing his TV programme.
Who's that? Dad. Oh, is he? What?
Yeah,
Merkel's
he's on
dad?
5 now, yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. Well,
TV program they got paid for.
Yeah, him and his daughter, they don't talk to they. Okay, Spiked. Let's have a look at this. This is interesting. Why Davos loves Greta? I'm really curious about this, yeah, because we got one or two things that are really changing our world, and one of them is this now, whether we like it or not, because Theresa May unilaterally decided that we would be signing up to this carbon neutral 2050 target. And if we don't, we're going to get fined God knows what. We could potentially go bankrupt in the trying to achieve this target by 2050, which people like Sadiq Khan wants to bring forward by 20 years. It just goes to show that how little people know. That someone reckons that it's like 20 years that side. Someone reckons that it's got to be brought forward 20 years. They don't know. They're making it up as they go along. And so we're kind of, anyway, I'm kind of curious. But the fact is that we will be paying for this as a country, whether we like it or not, apparently, unless we break treaties and stuff like that. And on the other hand, people like China are not doing anything at all, of course. Well, that's not true. They are doing some things, actually, I've heard, but not because we're putting any pressure on them. But anyway, so they spiked their take on it, why Davos loves Greta. The super rich and powerful politicians love being told off by supposedly radical Greens. Sounds like a lot of nonsense to me, but anyway, that's the top line. This week, the so-called 1%, some of the world's most influential people, will gather in Davos in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum's annual meeting. Politicians, big corporations, opinion formers and activists will discuss how government, civil society and private sectors can cooperate to tackle issues like income inequality and climate change. For the second year running, Greta Thunberg will be there. And this year, so will Mika White, social activist and co-founder of Occupy Wall Street, who needs to get a name change quick, because otherwise Greta will be chasing after you with Prince Charles with his shears to chop off your balls. Right, White's attendance has raised some eyebrows, as well as shears. Radical activists sitting at the same table as powerful governments and people from big business. Surely that makes them sellouts. Surely it shows that they are engaging in the 1%'s whitewashing. Oh no! Spike used the word white. Oh, Charles will be chasing you around the newsroom with his shears. Surely it shows that they are engaging in the 1%'s whitewashing of serious social and economic problems. That is what many, especially on the left, are saying. But this criticism is misleading. It overlooks the true character of both Davos and modern-day movements like Occupy. Oh, this is all bollocks. Look, the bottom line is that they're getting a load of subsidies for their energy companies. That's why they like Greta Thunberg. Many people think Davos is a case of greedy capitalists and corrupt politicians meeting in dark rooms filled with cigar smoke, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, people like what? Gideon Osborne, who's now political pulpit is the Evening Standard. He used to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And it turns out that then his company, like Cameron, is full of people with shares in energy companies or whatever. They're getting subsidies for their wind farms and stuff like this, or their shares therein. That's why people like this like Greta bloody Thunderbollocks. It's just a business deal, isn't it? It's a business deal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Incredible. Unbelievable. Okay. Anyway, apparently there's a virus mutating. A virus is mutating along with the climate. And everything's mutating. Prince Charles, Harry's mutated into a Holly weirdo. And we are all in danger of serious mutating. Mark, how's your mutating going so far this show?
I've definitely not mutated into a Remainer anyway.
Right. Good. That's the main thing. That is the main thing. I'm pleased to hear that.
Got no viruses.
So you're not worried? You don't think your bits are going to fall off this week? Or maybe they will?
I definitely should be arrested. That Thunderbollocks' parents should be arrested though for definitely child abuse.
Child abuse? I agree. Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it? It is.
Get her boyfriend.
What's she got, that poor girl? Asperger's or something?
Yeah. No, she's got Charlie. She's getting Andrew sent Charlie to go and get a phone number.
She stands there, she's with her visible tics, saying something or other completely incomprehensible, can't understand a word of it, something to do with Trump, Orange, Russians. And she's not well, bless her. And in fact, she was shown on camera after they'd been marauding her for a few months or whatever, and very successfully, all the PR. Globalists must have been well chuffed with that. And she's just not looking well on the camera. And she had to come out and say, actually, I've got Asperger's. What kind of a parent would put a child with Asperger's in the spotlight? It's very, very odd. Peculiar people. Peculiar. Let's take a few comments. See what people have got to say. Tanis Pullen, referring to Davos, I suggest, just another gathering of rich people trying to find ways to screw us out of our hard-working wedge. Anthony Heslop says it needs the two top scientists of the world, for and against, to knock it out on TV and see who wins, see who knocks it out first. Anthony, they could do a knockout. They could have a quick knockout between them, see who does that first, and then No, I don't know. Maybe that would be more scientific. I don't know. It does seem very, very peculiar indeed. Hey, Leigh Hollands. Good evening, Leigh. It does seem very, very peculiar that they and she should go to that. Why isn't she talking about? She should be selling them all drugs. Maybe that's what she is. Maybe she's their drug dealer. Maybe that's the true identity. A bit like Savile was, procuring the kids, and she procures the marijuana. And so she's got old Charlie boys like, my family and I don't know. I've got no idea. But maybe that's why she's there. If you talk to your plants, says Tanis Pullen, a bit like me, probably now actually, you don't tell the whole world. Charlie did. Well, he talks to his plants. I do talk to my plants actually. I've got no idea if they listen.
Unless the cannabis plants, Ollie.
Hey?
Unless the cannabis plants.
Yeah, no, I don't talk. I haven't got any of those. I did grow one of those. I did. I grew a big one. Got a couple of.
Oh, did I talk to them regular?
My plants. Hey, sorry.
I did, and I was rubbing my hands like this, going, "How are you today? You're looking lovely."
No, you might as well be talking to an MP. Sue P says most of us ladies can, Anna. We're to stick together and look after. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Paul Atkins think Ollie needs batteries for his sound card. I don't know what's going on with that sound card. Anna says nearly nobody can offend me. I just reply to him. I can be nasty, very nasty. Anna can be very nasty. She said it. Yeah, that's right. Over on wakeupuk.net. I don't think the batteries you would have fit my hearing aid. I don't know. Anyway, people are talking about batteries over there. Kenton says Charles has always been Savile's sidekick. There's a fact. Well, we do know not a lot as usual because there's very little talk. But we do know that Mountbatten introduced Savile to Philip, don't we? And that Philip then introduced him to Savile to Charles, and that Charles deemed, saw fit to apologise over his mate Cannon and Ball, that Church of England bloke, Cannon Balls, the Bishop Balls or whatever, who was a pedo, it turned out, and Charles apologised for having supported him and all that, but he never said anything about Savile, never apologised about Savile, and Savile after all was only pretty much the most prolific paedophile stroke necrophiliac stroke rapist of incapacitated patients in the UK in the history of the place. Anyway, there you go. That's all right. No problem. We don't need to know these kind of friendships about Jimmy Savile and the future king. Why would it concern us? Why would it worry us in the least? Tanis Pullen says her parents are being funded by Soros. Oh, now this would be Greta Thunderbollocks, I'll bet. They are watching their own daughter slowly growing mental. Child abuse. And it does make you wonder what's all the throwback to all this later on in her life. If she doesn't end up with coronavirus or something, she's going to have to, put up with all sorts of stuff. I don't know. John Middleton says CB1, CB2, Delta 9, DNA of us, CBD, THC. And then he says chemistry. And I think that's got something to do with growing hemp to save the planet, insulation, all that. Henry Ford used it for his cars. Tanis also says, if you talk to your plants, you don't tell the whole world. Charlie did. Oh, okay, at that time I managed to get that. Right, okay, fine. Conway, we got 5 minutes left of this completely ridiculous banter. Is there anything that's happened on the face of this planet this week which has been useful?
Yes. The return of Conor McGregor in his first fight since that great bust-up 18 months.
Conor McGregor. He's a boxer, isn't he?
40 seconds. MMA, mixed martial arts.
You liked that, did you? You enjoyed that? He's a big lad.
I like boxing and I like any kind of pugilistic sport. But I like Conor. Well, I think he's a bit of a twat, but I like the sport and I think he's good for the sport. And it's nice to see him back. Nice to see a professional back at the game. Because they was missing him, weren't they?
Apparently, he's very keen on Trump. Apparently, he said he was asked about Trump. He said, "Yeah, the guy's phenomenal. He said, So apparently now, half of the United States is in uproar about Conor McGregor. All the media, they can't stand him now. They don't like that. He likes orange people. Right.
But he is a ginger, isn't he?
Hey?
Conor is a ginger, so he's kind of orange anyway.
That's right, he is. Yeah, he is. He identifies as a ginger. Something else in Breitbart, just wrapping up. EU preparing to give the UK a worse trade deal than Canada and Japan. According to a report in Breitbart, the European Union is reportedly planning to offer the UK a trade deal with worse terms than it signed with countries such as Japan or Canada. The Telegraph reports that it has seen an account from a meeting at the European Commission on January the 10th, during which the EU's executive arm told member states that it would deny an agreement on standards recognition for British goods. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all kind of rhetoric at this stage, isn't it? It's all. This is the problem we got, Conway, this year, at least the next 2-3 months, because I think that they have to realistically agree a trade deal by June. But all this time up to then is just, or at least until a month before then, it's just going to be rhetoric. Rhetoric doesn't mean a thing. Haven't got a clue. It just, it may or may not have some kind of half-life in it. What these papers are printing, we're just not going to know really until the fat lady sings somehow.
I think the media machine is going to be doing overtime over the next 12 months. I think they're going to be trying to convince us that a deal is the only thing we can go forward with. I think that the power company is going to increase all their prices to punish us, and every European country is going to increase prices on us just to punish us and make us wish we were back in the EU. I think that's what's going to go on. Or to make strike a deal.
I'll tell you, it frustrates the hell out of me because I just don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe with regards to what's going on with Brexit or anything else. I mean, it's like the little boy that cried wolf. If you cry wolf enough times, nobody believes you anymore. Brexit means Brexit. Hey, I mean, hopefully it will all work out. But we'll see. But in the meantime, it's just rhetoric. I tell you, this is going to be a really, really frustrating year from a news point of view, at least as far as Brexit's concerned, because we're just not going to know the truth for real for at least the next many, many weeks. I want to say a big, big cheers to Mark P Conway. God bless you, Mr. Conway.
Anytime, Ollie.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for popping on, man. Good to talk to you. So that's been Daily Chaos, there you go. Nearly the end of January already. 2020. How sci-fi. I'm Olly Connelly. I'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. GMT. Daily Brexit, whatever it is. No. YouTube.com/Daily Brexit and wakeupuk.net. Thank you to everybody in the comments. I think despite the audio weirdo stuff that happened and the fact that I had to reboot my machine just before the show because my mixing software decided to freeze or something, and apart from those two, relatively major issues, everything else technical wise went really well tonight. I think Mark heard me and I heard Mark. That's a start. We heard the music. Hopefully you can hear this music now, people. Had I bothered to quote anybody on the internet or whatever, then we could have heard that as well. I know, because I tested it earlier. So the technical wise is beginning to improve on this show. You'll be pleased to hear, and I'm pleased to report, which means that I will advance this show somewhat over the next coming weeks and what have you. So hopefully it can get even better and more exciting and thinking less about the tech and more about the bloody content. Yeah. Cheers, folks. Night and night. Here's to us. And bugger down.